Welcome back to Friends by Film. I'm one of the hosts here, Dana Polidoro.
And I'm Tyler Pacholski. Thanks for joining us today.
Since it's the new year, we thought it'd be good to go through our most anticipated movies of 2021. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be good movies. We're just really excited about them. So we're going to start with our number 10. So Tyler, what's your number 10 movie of 2021 that you're looking forward to?
All right. So my number 10 happens to be James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Wasn't a big fan of the 2016 Suicide Squad directed by David Ayer. However, James Gunn has a pretty good track record. I'm curious to see him assemble this team of misfits for an adventure I think we're going to be talking about for quite some time. So that's my number 10. Did Suicide Squad make your 10 or?
It did not, but I'm also looking forward to it as well. I mean, what a great cast they've assembled, and I'm really excited to see a lot of the characters come to life. Also, I was encouraged by the tone of the sizzle reel they put out on the DC fandom. I think that was late summer. Did you catch that trailer?
Yeah, it was sometime around there.
Yeah, I'm excited. Just the look of the movie too. It looks like a really graphic novel. So I'm really excited at what James Gunn's going to do with the DC universe.
Absolutely.
Is it going to be rated R?
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely going to be rated R. I think if I'm not mistaken, well, the first Suicide Squad was PG-13, but I think we live in a day and age where we've come across movies like The Joker, movies like Logan, R-rated movies, depending on how good they are, can make money. So I think that DC has probably been super impressed by James Gunn, and they definitely probably want to encourage James Gunn to have more liberty.
Yeah,
we could see a PG-13 rating. I'd be okay with that as long as it's a good film. As long as I'm having a good time, man.
I think this might be back to James Gunn's roots with like Super on that level, maybe. So
yeah.
My number 10 is Soggy Bottom, which is a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I don't know much about it, but it's Paul Thomas Anderson, so I'm really excited to see what his next project's going to be. I love Phantom Thread, which was his latest. Have you heard of Soggy Bottom, Tyler?
I actually have, and I honestly forgot that was going to be coming out sometime this year.
Yeah, there's no release date, so it's possible it could get pushed. But I mean, it's on the slate as of now.
If I'm not mistaken, the only news that I'm aware of is that, from what I've been hearing in the reports, it's that it's a return to the form that we're used to regarding P.T. Anderson's foray into the ensemble cast. I think in terms of the cast, I think we're expecting Bradley Cooper as having a lead role along with Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that'll be very interesting. I love P.T. Anderson. I love his, for the most part, the majority of his filmography. I still have yet to see Inherent Vice in its totality. And I do know I need to see a movie called Hard Eight that he did preceding, I believe, Boogie Nights and the films that made him fairly famous at the time. But yeah, no, Soggy Bottom is definitely a movie that I'd be looking forward to checking out whenever it comes out. Did it make my top 10? Completely passed the radar for me.
Nice. It's I think they completed filming in the fall, so I'm excited that it's actually shot.
Yes.
So
I know in P.T. Anderson it's going to be shot on film, probably. What do you think? 35 millimeter?
Yeah, definitely. He'll change it up. It'll be on film for sure. All right. What was your number 9?
So my number 9 is a film that was anticipated to come out last year, but was pushed back in regards to delays. But we are expecting it to be a 2021 release, and that's a Quiet Place Part 2. Was very much impressed with the very first Quiet Place, directed and written by John Krasinski. And I'm very much curious with the promotional material just to see where the story evolves, for those who haven't seen it, after the events of A Quiet Place. But I was very much impressed with the first one, and based on the promotional material I've been seeing of recent, I'm very much excited to see another interesting foray into that type of post-apocalyptic horror. Did that make your list, Daniel?
It did not. Thoughts? And I haven't seen the first one. It just didn't really appeal to me. But hey, the trailer looks good. I saw the trailer. They revealed the alien or shapeshifter, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. Just for the lack of better terms, they're alien in form. But yeah, no, it was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was like the best movie I saw of that particular year. I think it was 2018. but it was very effective. And that's a movie that I want to see in the theater.
Yeah.
That's a movie that's heavily leans in on sound, the design, and it's a movie that I think, would probably benefit from the scope of the big screen. And so I hope we get to see that in the theater. I hope theaters, continue to thrive, or, begin to thrive this upcoming year.
Yeah, I struggle with those kinds of movies that deal with sound. I don't like being scared.
Okay, gotcha.
My number 9 is oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just saying, just get a little bit too scared.
Yeah, it's not for me. It's not something that I enjoy being. I hate haunted houses and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, you won't see me in a haunted house anytime soon. I'll see a quiet place too before I go into a haunted place. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're good. My number 9 is Don't Worry, Darling, which is to be announced 2021. It's currently being filmed right now. It's directed by Olivia Wilde, starring Florence Pugh. So I'm excited about this project. I don't really know anything about the premise, but I'm just excited to see Olivia Wilde back directing. I really enjoyed Booksmart. I think that was last year.
That's a film I haven't seen. I have not seen that.
I highly recommend it. It's very well made. It's I think it's on Hulu. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm gonna go right into my number 8. Be the No Time to Die, which I'm sure is on your list. It comes out April 2nd. Well, we've seen the trailers. We're just ready to see this movie. I think James Bond, Daniel Craig's last portrayal of James Bond. What do you think?
I think Daniel Craig's probably ready to see this movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the actual one of the few movies of last year that I was really disappointed that we weren't going to be able to see anytime soon. That did make my list. I'll leave it yet to be unveiled.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely love the Bond franchise. They've got quite a bit of hits along with some misses for me. But I just love the adventure, the spectacle, and I think this is another film, along with A Quiet Place, probably more a film that deserves to be seen on the big screen. Definitely. I've got a lot of memories with the Pierce Brosnan era and the Daniel Craig era. Just goes to show my age. But these are films that are spectacle driven, and I'm very much curious to see how, again, Daniel Craig's final foray into this character unfolds. I'm very much interested.
I'm with you. What was your number 8?
So my number 8 happens to be about another franchise that's been growing in steam, and that's Fast and Furious 9. I am a big fan. I wasn't initially a big fan after the first few films, but ever since I saw Fast and Furious, or Furious 5, Fast and Furious 6, James Wan taking the mantle, the Fast and Furious franchise has just blown itself into just crazy proportions of action spectacle. Some pretty nice themes of family, friendship, loyalty. Those types of timeless themes intertwined with all the action and spectacle. It's a fun movie. Based on what we saw, we're getting some John Cena action. So any John Cena fans out there, this might be your time to, I don't know, just to get to see him and just some bonkers action. Rumor has it we might be going into space at this point in time. Who knows? It's 2020 and 2021's right around the corner. So Fast and Furious 9 is my 8th most anticipated film of the year.
Not on my list, but it is a guilty pleasure franchise. I do have a soft spot for Fast 5. Yeah, I mean, that's enough said. I mean, that's how I treat, most of like Wonder Woman and stuff. I kind of treat the same way I do Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. My number 7 is Last Night in Soho, which is Edgar Wright's next movie. April 23rd of 2021 is where it's supposed to come out. Did that make your list, Tyler?
It actually did. It's not my number 7th, but it's my number 6. We'll get to there shortly.
Okay,
but
perfect.
I'm so much looking forward to that film. What are you looking forward to in particular?
I'm just excited to see another movie by Edgar Wright. I don't really know much about it, honestly. I haven't looked into it. So maybe it's a horror movie. I don't know.
Yeah, it takes inspiration from films like Don't Look Now, or some more cerebral horror, psychological horror films of the 70s. I know it's got Anna Taylor-Joy. She's riding off the success of The Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
Okay.
She was also featured earlier this year with The New Mutants. But yeah, no, anything Edgar Wright does, I'm there, man.
Awesome, man. What was your number 7? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. It's actually a seventh film in a franchise, Mission Impossible 7. I'm looking forward to checking out to see the continuing adventures of Ethan Hunt and the MI team, or the Impossible Mission MIF. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, I'm curious to see what crazy stunt Tom Cruise gets himself wrapped up in. I was already interested in seeing the film after the success and the greatness that I thought Mission Impossible Fallout was, but I'm also curious to see what the whole hullabaloo is with this whole Tom Cruise rant. My gosh, man, that probably was, I think personally, I think there's some merit to what he had to say. I think the way he went about it, understandably, he's upset, could have been different, done differently. But hey, there's a lot at stake with this film. I get it. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to Mission Impossible 7. Whether you like Tom Cruise or not, that's a different issue. But it's hard not to say that the Mission Impossible franchise is not spectacular.
Yeah, I think Fallout was the best entry yet. So I'm excited about both 7 and 8. I know they're being shot back to back, so I'm excited about that. Didn't make my list, but I'm definitely excited. Go ahead and let's talk about Last Night in Soho. You said that was number 6 for you?
Yeah. So getting into number 6, I also Last Night in Soho. Again, another kind of Edgar Wright's foray into horror. We really haven't seen him lean into that. I think the closest we've seen is a trailer that he did as a part of the Grindhouse features in 2006. I think it was called Don't.
Oh, the Rodriguez Tarantino. He did
Yeah,
one of
so
okay.
they did those faux trailers, and
Yeah,
I think it was called Don't. And so I think we have seen Shaun of the Dead, of course. But I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, going to be leaning more into the horror element. I'm sure there might be some kind of, awkwardly funny things. But I'm curious to see Edgar Wright play into that, more into that horror aspect.
Yeah, me too. Looks
so that's
cool.
number 6 for me. What's number 6 for you?
Another guilty pleasure, Venom, Let There Be Carnage on June 25th. This is the sequel to Venom. Tom Hardy returns, Michelle Williams as well, and Woody Harrelson is going to play Carnage. So sign me up for this campy mess that is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm a big...
What?
Go ahead.
No, you're a big what?
I'm a big Tom Hardy fan, and I really enjoyed the first one for what it was. I thought it was hilarious.
Yes, I also agree. That didn't make my list, but that is definitely a film that I'm looking forward to checking out. I think Woody Harrelson is incredible. He's an incredible actor, dramatic-wise, comedic-wise. And so I have a feeling he's going to lean hard into some of that camp. Yeah. And that's fine with me. So I'm with you.
Definitely. My number 5 is Samaritan, starring Sylvester Stallone. It's going to be produced by Legendary. It'll be out June 11th. And from what I know, it's about a washed-up superhero that is discovered by a little boy. So I'm excited about it. I'm not sure what the rating is going to be. Probably PG-13. But yeah. Have you heard of the film?
Yeah, actually, this is the first time I've ever heard of that. I've never heard of. I mean, Stallone is great. I mean, say what you want to say about him. He's come out with some pretty legendary films. I mean, the Rocky franchise. But yeah, no, that's great. Samaritan, you said that's coming out this summer, June?
Yeah, June 11th. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Reminds me of a film back in the day called Hancock.
Yeah,
the superhero.
It's interesting you say that because of some of the stills I've seen. It does remind me of a Hancock type look. So,
okay.
Yeah. What was your number 5, Tyler?
So my number 5, and again, with the year it's been, I am curious to see if this is actually going to come out this year, but technically it's slated for release this year. It's going to be the Untitled Spider-Man 3 film, directed again by, if I believe, John Watts, who directed the previous 2 in the Homecoming and Far From Home franchise. Very much curious to see what this looks like. I don't know if it has been confirmed yet, but supposedly we are definitely delving into the Spider-Verse live action style, with possibly Tobey Maguire returning as Peter Parker from the earlier millennium. And Andrew Garfield, not a big fan of him. Curious to see how his implementation along with Tobey Maguire's is. But yeah, man, we're going to be getting a live action Spider-Verse and potential team up with the Sinister Six from across the generations. Sign me up, man. Whether this comes out this year, I don't know. I have a feeling it might get pushed back, but it's still part of 2021 as of now.
Yep, it is. I think December or November. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to that one too. And I don't know. Yeah, we've talked about it before, but I don't know how much the cast is really going to be in it. It sounds like they're going to make appearances from all three films. So yeah, I'm excited about that one as well. Didn't make my list, but I'm excited about it. What was your number 4, Tyler?
So my number 4, and this is coincidentally another fourth entry into a franchise. But this is a franchise that has been, for the most part, at least cinematically, been kind of done since 2003. And it's a return to form for Keanu Reeves. It's The Matrix 4. This was a film that I think was slated to release earlier this year, has been pushed back to December. Wasn't as big of a fan of the sequels, but I am a huge fan of the first film. I think it's an incredible modern day classic. And I'm curious as hell to see, okay, how is Keanu implemented back in here? Is he another iteration? Are we going to be, is there a glitch in the Matrix? What is happening? I know we have Lana Wachowski of the
Right,
Wachowski siblings returning to direct. I think also written part of this script, or might have written the entire script.
right.
But sign me up. I'm curious. I want to see some crazy action. Give me some green coating coming down the screen. I'm going to be in the theater. I'm going to be eating popcorn and drinking my Pepsi or Coke, whatever they serve at the theater. So sign me up.
Yeah, man. Not on my list, but I'm excited as well. I'm definitely looking forward to see if there's any more groundbreaking technology, because the thing about the Matrix 1 is they brought in so much groundbreaking technology for there were so many like copycats after the Matrix came out, or so many homages to the Matrix. It really
Mm-hmm.
changed the way that we saw films, especially
Oh,
action.
absolutely.
So I'm excited as well. My number 4 is The Last Duel, which is a team up of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck with Ridley Scott directing, and it comes out
Wow.
October 15th. I don't know much about it, but I know it's a period piece. So I'm curious to see what happens. I know it's written and directed by Matt and Ben again of Good Will Hunting. So hey, you got my curiosity. It's my number 4. Have you heard of this one, Tyler?
I have heard of it. I don't know much about it other than, like, I think you said it's a period piece, but
Hmm.
honestly, I totally forgot that it's going to be Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Wow. Have we
Yeah,
seen them in anything else outside of Good Will Hunting and Jay and Silent Bob? I mean, we I know they were in the brief appearance,
yeah,
reprising their
Chasing
characters.
Amy and all that. But no, I don't think they've had a team up since. I mean, they did that Green Light show on HBO, but that's not a movie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious about is they're coming back together and it's kind of Oscar season. Maybe it'll be something. We'll see.
Well, cool, man. So that brings us to, I guess, our number threes. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Cool.
Top
What's your number
3.
three film?
My number 3 is Dune. So we'll talk about that one later, but it comes out October 1st. Really excited about it. What was your number 3?
My number three happens to be a film that's at least slated to come out in July. It's M. Night Shyamalan's Old. It's a film that is inspired from a graphic novel of a mysterious island where 13 or so individuals from different walks of life are left on this island. And there's a secret where people tend to age rapidly within a 24-hour period. And there's some other dark secrets involved. I think M. Night Shyamalan is continuing his resurgence. Say what you want about Glass, wasn't as big of a fan of that film, but I definitely enjoyed his foray into The Village and Split. We know he's a good director when he gets the right story and the right source
Right.
material. So I'm very much intrigued with this concept, and I'm looking for a good time. Come on, M. Night Shyamalan, do your magic. I
I
know you
haven't
got
heard
it
of
in
this
you.
one. Yeah, I had not heard
Yeah.
of Old, and I'm glad you brought it up because yeah, M Night Shyamalan. I say what you want about his movies, but I like that he takes risk, and we need more unique filmmakers like that.
Mm-hmm. So that's my number three. What's your number three?
My number 3 was Dune, but we'll get to
Oh
that because
gosh,
I
my
know
gosh.
that was you have that later. But number
Yes.
2 is one I'm really looking forward to. The Many Saints of Newark, March 12th, and that's I guess it's supposed to come out in theaters and HBO Max. It's a prequel to The Sopranos. So David Chase, who created Sopranos, is directing, and James Gandolfini's son is playing young Tony. I think that's all I know as far as the cast. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with the Sopranos sequel. There's a lot of material there from the show that they could go back to. So yeah, I mean, are you a big Sopranos fan? Have you seen the show at all?
So I have seen the first 3 seasons, and I
Yeah.
can't remember what was going on in my life at the time. But for the life of me, I just kind of petered out. But it's impressive writing. I think the character of Tony Soprano is really fully, fully fleshed out well.
Oh yeah.
Very intriguing. I think it's definitely in the realm of it's up there when it comes to mobster storylines. It didn't make my list. Again, I haven't seen all of The Sopranos to
Right.
probably appreciate the film, but this might actually be a film that will get me back to watching the series again. I know we
Yeah.
haven't seen any promotional materials. From what I understand, there might be some stills out on the internet. But yeah, what a great way to honor the late James Gandolfini, having the son portray Tony Soprano, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Exactly.
So my number 2 happens to be a part of a long-standing franchise, and that is No Time to Die. We did talk
Oh
about
yes.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
anticipation for that. Confession: I haven't seen Spectre. I heard some lukewarm, mixed
Ah,
things. I'm definitely going to be watching that. But I have been impressed thus far with Daniel Craig's iteration of the character in Casino Royale. Saw him in 2006. Quantum of Solace, not too bad. Skyfall was incredible. So I'm curious to see, how Daniel Craig's iteration of James Bond comes to an end. We'll see what happens with that franchise. But I think that's a film that's going to be incredible to see and hear on the big screen.
what's your favorite Daniel Craig James Bond movie?
It actually happens to be Skyfall.
Okay.
I really enjoy that one. Definitely like the kind of delving deep into his origins, some of the psyche, and I definitely enjoyed the villain of Silva. I thought Javier Bardem did a great job coming off again, from playing Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men. So he knows how to play his villains pretty well.
Yeah,
What's your
I
favorite Daniel
loved
Craig?
I love Casino Royale. I think that one's still his
That's a
best.
great one.
Yeah, I think that's
It's like they're like neck and neck, man. I imagine there's days where it's Skyfall, and then there are days where it's Casino Royale. It's one of those types, those two types of movies.
nice. Yeah, that's good. So my number 1 is Top Gun Maverick. Comes out July 2nd. And speaking of Tom Cruise earlier, this looks amazing to me. I'm a big fan of the first Top Gun, and I'm really looking forward to going to an IMAX to watch this one. They shot it, I guess, on like 8K camera, 10K cameras, IMAX
Whew.
cockpit cameras. They use all real planes. I mean, it's going to be a spectacle that needs to be on the big screen. So I'm really excited to see what Top Gun Maverick is going to be like.
Awesome, dude. I know we've talked about this, and this is probably a film that I'm going to have to see the first one. I have yet to see Top Gun. But I can't remember what film I saw, but I saw promotional material in IMAX for this film.
Star Wars,
And
probably.
it might have been Star Wars. And oh my gosh, man, just seeing that footage of being inside the cockpit, just the planes, just the jet
Mm-hmm.
fighters going through the snowy tundras and all that, it looked incredible, man. So while it didn't make my list, I'm super excited for you, especially with you being a big fan of the movie, the first one. What are you hoping for, and what are you not hoping for this go around? And
I'm hoping for a great story. A great what has Maverick been doing the last 30 years? Obviously, he's not retired or dead, as they say in the trailer. I'm looking forward to the supporting cast: Ed Harris, John Hamm, Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly. Really excited for the music as well. They're supposed to bring back Highway to the Danger Zone. I forgot his name. Kenny Loggins supposed
Kenny
to return.
Loggins.
He's supposed to put out some new material and also use old songs. So I'm really excited to get back into that world of Top Gun.
That's awesome, man. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
My number 1, you mentioned it, it's on your list. It happens to be Dune. Denis Villeneuve's Dune. It was a film that was supposed to come out earlier this year, probably around this actual time period, Christmas time. But because of the virus and pandemic has been pushed out into October of 2021. I happen to have the soundtrack for Blade Runner 2049 behind me. Denis Villeneuve is an incredible filmmaker. I think he's one of the best filmmakers we've seen thus far in the last probably 10, 15 years. Been very much impressed with his films like Sicario, Blade Runner 2049, Prisoners. What else? There's another film that I'm forgetting. Arrival. Oh my gosh.
Arrival, yeah.
These are epic, just breathing, living cinematic shots, spectacles. And so this is another feature that I'm looking forward to not only seeing, but hearing on the big screen as well. I remember seeing Blade Runner 2049 in IMAX, and I was blown away. The cinematography of Roger Deakins, I'm not sure who's doing the cinematography this time around, but based on what I've seen, the incredible ensemble of cast and actors and actresses, I think we're in for a good ride. So,
yeah, I wasn't blown away by the trailer, but I'm definitely still looking forward to it. And the cast is phenomenal. And of course, Denny is going to direct the crap out of it. And he said it's his best movie he's ever made. I mean, it's getting a lot of press now because of the HBO Max situation. So I think that might actually help it. I hope it makes some money. I know Blade Runner 2049 didn't make as much money as they anticipated. But I'm definitely, I'm on board with you. I have to see it in theaters, set to see it on the biggest screen possible. Is Hans Zimmer back as the composer?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I haven't looked far into that, but I think Hans Zimmer did an incredible job with Blade Runner 2049. I think he also let's see. I think it was another gentleman that was a part of it too.
Yeah.
But Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfish. Benjamin Wallfish did the scores for It Chapter 2, and then also the recent Invisible Man. So that was pretty good. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dune looks phenomenal. I can't wait. I still need to read the book. I have it over there on the shelf somewhere. So
I see it, man. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Have you read it? Have you read the book?
Okay, so another confession. I don't do a lot of reading these days in terms of long literature, but I tried, and I have plenty of time before October to actually read the book.
Yeah,
and I plan on reading that book.
Me too.
I know that it's a part of the series, if I'm not mistaken, and I think that Denis Villeneuve, like you said, with everything that's been going on with HBO Max, did make a comment that we'll see what the success of it's like if we're going to return to this world. So I have a feeling we're going to have a great time.
This movie might be a real game changer for movie theaters too, for the life of movie theaters. I feel like it might be a big milestone here. Either it could go really well or really bad. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a solid film, especially crafted. I mean, there's no way it's not going to be top notch.
Yeah,
as far as an adaptation, I'm not sure. But
yeah, it sounds like it's a labor of love, and I think you did hit it on the nail. I think Denis Villeneuve said this is one of his best works, or either his best or finest work. So, I mean, he hasn't proved me wrong at all so far. So, we'll see, man, for sure.
Yeah, you look at what he did for Blade Runner 2049. I mean, having a sequel to a cult film. I mean, the pressure in that, and then adapting like one of the greatest science fiction novels to screen. David Lynch's version was, I guess it wasn't as, he kind of just did his own thing. This is supposed to be more pure to the book, more of an accurate adaptation to the source material. So I think it's going to be great for Dune fans because Denny's such a fan of the franchise.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, what are your thoughts? Are there any particular films that we talked about today that you're interested in checking out? Let us know in the comments below. Give us a list, a rundown of some of the films you're looking forward to. Give us your top 10, top 5, whatever you feel comfortable with. Daniel, where can they find you?
They can find me at PoliPictures on Twitter and YouTube. And yeah, let us know if we missed anything. Let us know below. And we thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing to our Facebook page, Films by Friends by Film, sorry. But Friends by Film on Facebook. We thank you so much for liking our page. We're closing in on 300 likes, and we'll have plenty of surprises to come.
Absolutely. We thank you so much, and we hope you're having a wonderful day. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that theaters can continue to thrive and we get to see all these films on the big screen where it's meant to be seen.
Yes, take care and Happy New Year. Stay tuned.
Happy New Year.
Sweet.